Cart, what is something that programs who feel really, really, really good about the caliber of their basketball team, what is something that programs like that do?
Have open practices and let the media in the gym.
They open the doors to everyone and their mama to tell everyone, show the world how good we know we are at basketball. Purdue did it again. They had their alumni game over the weekend. Friend of the program, Robbie Hummel, starred, set records, by the way. There's another video on the channel about that. I digress. As part of this big celebratory athletics weekend for Purdue, they held another open practice where they welcomed in media members to see behind the scenes. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this the second time they've done this summer? Or am I tripping on that?
Like open practice to media.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was an open practice before Oscar Kluff and Omer Meyer got there earlier
Yeah,
this summer.
there was like I think I want to say like the very first like summer session they let media in there.
Yeah, I now again, nothing wrong with it. Obviously, we are big fans of this, but does feel like it's happening a lot, which to me is an indication of how good everyone involved, the coaching staff, the media, everybody feels about this Purdue team.
Oh, coaching 101. You open up for media when you know your team's good. If your
Yeah.
team's stinking it up, you're like, oh, you mean just, we're really trying to stay within the team this summer. You know what I'm saying? No outside noise. AKA, I don't know if my team can score in the half court, so media stay out.
Yeah, that's why Juwan Howard never opened his practices to anyone. That's also why you never invite me over to your house.
Facts, big
Yeah,
facts.
exactly. So I digress. Purdue, open practice. All the big names were there. Purdue media. If there's one thing Purdue media folks are going to do, they're going to attend an open practice and they're going to cover it phenomenally well. I'm talking the Boilers in the Stands of the world. I'm talking the Brian Newberts of the world. I'm talking the Casey Bartleys of the world. All the great Purdue media folks were on site and covering this in person, tweeting their live thoughts, sharing videos, sharing interviews, writing up exactly what they saw in detail. I'm sure Purdue fans that are listening to this have probably consumed all of that content already. We're just adding our own personal flair, reacting to all of these reports that are coming out. But if for some reason you haven't made your way to all of that yet, make sure you do. Go follow all of those people, go react to it, go read it, go watch it. They've all done a great job laying out exactly what it looked like at this open practice. It bears saying, Cart. I feel like this is an obligatory, we're obligated to say it every Purdue practice video. We were not in the gym for this. We do not go to Purdue open practices, but we react to what we hear from Purdue open practices and what we see. Is that good? Did we set the table?
What do we says? I imagine they did let us in.
I mean, they would be a little confused if like everyone else was watching TKR push shots and I'm just in the corner like trying to talk to Omer the whole
Yeah, and
time.
while that's going on, I'm in there like I scream out, hey, "Fuck, one more!" Like they're looking at us like, "Who said that?" I'm like,
All
"Oh, sorry,
right.
sorry."
So we again, everyone else can find the primary takeaways here online. You can read summaries. There are, I would say, different summaries. Most of the takeaways seem to be the same from everybody involved, but I don't know, maybe a little different personal touch from all of the different reporters that were in attendance for this that saw their own things and had their own takeaways. I'll just throw it to you. After reading and watching as much as you could possibly see from all who were in attendance from Purdue's open practice, what is your biggest takeaway from the takeaways?
So I feel like one of the main takeaways that I always speak about, and I understand it, but I just feel the need to throw it out there every time we do get a glimpse of something like this, is that this Purdue team is really talented. They're very talented, and I think even in the small amount of footage you can see, and from what you're hearing, they have fixed a lot of the issues with the not having a center, the defensive rebound, the size portion of it, like that's out the door, right? Like the year last year that was Caleb First playing the five or TKR playing the five. I just don't know if that's really gonna be an issue this year with Kluff and with Jacobson in the fold. And I think you see a lot of how having that center actually makes this team legit different outside of even the things that you would automatically think make better, like defensive rebounding, honestly get better with a guy like Kluff in there. But even having Jacobson and Kluff in like that dunker spot where you see TKR is always catching the ball off that little pocket pass from Braden and he's at the elbow and he's so good at that push shot. Now, not only does he have that push shot, he can also do that little kind of push assist, like that little lob to the dunker spot, which, you know, last year you just couldn't do. I remember watching last year and they tried to do that to Caleb first and he's just like, I'm a doctor. Like, I don't know what to do with this. But that's like not the case anymore. And it just makes this team very hard to check because what do you do when you're in that situation?
It's
Because
a
if
good
you have
question.
one little mental lapse, you have TKR making that push shot, which he's really good at making. Like that's almost that is a layup in my mind. Um, you got to watch the 2 7-footers that could possibly catch in the dunker spot. Oh, if you're on the wing too and you peek a little bit too long, I have a guy who's played 4 years, hasn't lost a game in the state of Indiana in the last decade. It feels like Fletcher Lawyer shooting 49% from three on one wing. And
Well,
then on the other wing, you got somebody else.
Pause. Again, contractually obligated. Purdue fans don't like it. Contractually obligated. Sweet 16 game was in the state of Indiana.
Kiss my ass. Guy's a winner and he can shoot. Guy's a winner and he can shoot the piss out of the basketball, and that's what you got. And that's without the other handsome wing that's going to be on the other end. Omer Meyer, who's resting right now. Love that too.
Is he going to be on the other end?
I still no, he's I mean eventually he will eventually we'll get there, but we're also gonna
Okay.
go through you know, what's the Chinese calendar, like Year of the Dragon, things like that.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go through a little bit of like, uh year of the Cox.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, DNP jet lag going on a lot right now. Got a CP3 camp invite and said I'm too tired. Then got an alumni game invite and said I'm tired. And then got an open practice invite and said I'm a little tired. So just a little tired. I get it. I'm also tired a lot. Very tired guy right here. So I get it. But yeah, kind of bummer. It does need to be said, I think. I feel like there was a little bit of a palpable response from those in attendance that was like, it's a bummer Omer didn't play today. We want to see this team at full strength. Still, we have not seen this team at full strength because Omer's not really participating a lot right now, despite being physically present.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's played a lot. I think one of the things we talked about, he played a lot of ball this summer. He played a
Yeah.
lot of ball, and you're predicting too. You're gonna play. They're gonna be playing deep into March. They're gonna be playing a lot of games. They're gonna be playing in the Big Ten. He's gonna be getting beat up. Get go. You know what I'm saying? This isn't as much as we want to show out for our good friend Craig Browers and all the other Purdue people that we love in the gym. They'll get their time.
Okay. So patience is what I need to practice.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
very bad at practicing patience.
You have the least amount of patience,
Mhm.
second least amount of patience of anybody I know.
Who's first?
Meg.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mel Tucker.
I Jesus.
Okay, so back to takeaways.
That's how we're shifting back to that's the transition.
Well, okay, so you mentioned something that had me kind of chuckling, and then I had to wait like 4 minutes to get to this opportunity to say it. But you mentioned like it feels like the most exciting, flashy new thing here, right? Because there's so many veteran returners here. Obviously, you've got the best point guard in the country, arguably the second or best big man scorer in the country, depending on how you feel about JT Toppin, the best shooter in the country, and Fletcher Lawyer. Obviously, there's a lot of known commodities. It's not going to feel all that new. And even despite this team being the preseason number one team in the country and how good they are, I don't want to say people aren't excited, but I think in the offseason is a time for flashy new toys, excitement, right? No matter how good your toys are, if you don't have a couple of new toys, it can feel a little boring in August until you get to the point where you're actually winning the games by 30 points. And I feel like for that reason, given who was available at this practice, it was kind of the Oscar Kluff show. Like it felt like the first bullet point from pretty much everyone in attendance and the interviews and even the video stuff that was shared was, wow, look at Oscar Kluff go. You framed it the way you were just laying it out as this, a good reminder that it's no longer a doctor in the dunker spot. I would like to posit and just add this. We would never put Oscar Kluff in charge of an open heart surgery. That's basically what we did last year. We asked a doctor to play in between Braden and TKR, and it went as poorly as it would if you asked Oscar Kluff to conduct open heart surgery. Two different fields. Stick to the one you're good at. Oscar Kluff would probably eat the heart if he was asked to save someone's life in an open heart surgery room. Instead, this man is ready made for winning basketball games. And I understand he comes from the mid major level. He was arguably the most productive rebounder at the mid major level or in the entire country. But there is like a level of competition he's got to prove it stuff, right? I went through this with Danny Wolf last year. Ultimately, Danny proved it. But at first, it was like, how much can we really buy the hype until we see it every game against high major competition? Oscar Kluff, I think, has one of the highest floors in America, partially because of who he's going to play in between in this role. He's not going to be asked to do anything difficult at all. He's going to be asked to be in the right spots, catch and finish, which he's great at, grind on the boards, be big, just be a deterrent a little bit at the rim. And if we really want to get cute, and we know Painter and PJ are really smart, TKR is going to need some room to operate. Maybe Oscar Kluff floats to the perimeter and catches and shoots a couple open threes. His jumper looks really good right now. But I do feel like without piling too much on Will Berg and Caleb First last year, it is not an exaggeration. I think people got mad at us and acted like we were being hyperbolic about it. But I want to be clear, it is not an exaggeration how limited Purdue's centers were last year. They were horrid. They just weren't playable. And we went through waves of Painter making them look playable by getting cute philosophically and changing the defense and all of these things. The simple reality was they did not have a Big Ten caliber player in the front court last year.
It,
Now you have
it
this massive giant who's like 23 and going to be really good.
like we like the phrase. Didn't Will Burke start a game last year? Actually,
He did. Yes.
that happened.
And the
That
team
happened.
still went to a Sweet 16, by the way, through all of this.
Right.
But like it
Which
was
brings us back to like why people should actually be very excited about what this is.
yes. And like from what I saw in video form and what people wrote up, I don't think Cluff's doing anything mind blowing either. I think it's just like Purdue fans are viewing this behemoth 7 foot dude as like, oh shit, we got a real center again. And it's kind of crazy that the Purdue program even went through 1 year of not having that with how good of their post players are. But like, man, from everything I saw, Kluff just looks solid. He looks built. He's obviously huge. He's I think he fits so well within the other big three because of where he's at in his college career. Like there is a sense of urgency from him. This is it. And I think he's one of the more championship ready bigs in the country. And I don't know, it just kind of settled in watching all this stuff from the open practice, how perfect of an ad that was.
Yeah, like you don't need him to be anything crazy. Like
No.
you didn't need anything to be anything crazy last year at center, to be honest with you, which is why like, even having a freshman Jacobson last year, I think would have been enough for Purdue to, I think, go further and be better than they were last year without him. But at its core, like the floor of Oscar Clough is good enough for this basketball team. That's why at the floor of Oscar Clough, I think he's gonna rebound, he's gonna be old, and he's not gonna get smaller. That he is a massive human being with very high, broad shoulders, and he looks scary. So, like, that's kind of what you want in a center.
He looks scary. That's your takeaway?
Like, I feel like he would make a good what's the one movie with Quasimodo?
Mm. I Hunchback of Notre Dame, is
Yeah,
that what it is?
he'd make a good gargoyle.
Okay, that's a crazy way to frame it, but I can see what you're talking about. Do you buy the Oscar Clough jumper that people are getting very excited about?
Don't care.
So you're just tuning that part out?
It's just I don't know. It's just I don't care. I don't think they need him to do that. I don't think that honestly just I don't even think that's something he's gonna do. I don't know. I'm more so like I'm hoping for other things from others. I'm not hoping that Oscar Clough 3 pointers are a part of the arsenal. Like it's cute that he can do it and hit some of them in practice. I think that is the worst shot attempt that you can get if you're a Purdue player or
Okay.
Purdue offense.
I don't think it's the worst if it's wide open. I will say just from video footage of it, it looks like it will go in. I don't think he'll shoot many, but it will probably go in. I buy that it's going to go in.
Out of a starter, what would be the worst offensive shot you could get?
Well, is Omer still tired or is he in the starting lineup?
I don't know, man. I think CJ Cox is in the starting
If
lineup.
CJ Cox is in the starting lineup, then cover your ears if you want, Purdue fans. I think any CJ Cox shot is the worst shot.
Oh no, I'm out of there. No, any Oscar Cluff jumper is the worst shot.
Wide open Oscar Kluff three. I'll take that over like a CJ Cox heat check, which is every CJ Cox shot.
Well, I disagree, but hey, it is what it is.
Okay, all right. So you don't, like, I guess to summarize, you don't buy the jumper. I am buying the jumper a little bit. We'll see.
No, it's fine. Like actually, I do. I'll buy it. I'll buy it and keep it though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not showing. I'm letting it just matriculate. I'll buy it. I'll
Sure,
keep it in the garage. You know, there's no need to bring it out. Maybe when the Woodward Dream Cruise hits, I'll take it for a spin. But I'm not showing out with it every day.
sure. That makes sense. Okay. So other than the shiny new toy Oscar Kluff appearances, what else stood out? I feel like there's one returnee that I think got the most praise in terms of like, wow, I think we are going to see a different version of
Oh, it
this
was it
guy.
was it was easily CJ Cox.
Not what I was going to say. What'd you hear and feel about CJ?
I feel like everyone, or at least I saw stuff from Casey, I saw stuff from Craig as well. Like CJ Cox is just like gonna be one of the guys that takes a sophomore leap, that he's making shots. I know you weren't going towards the Jack Benter side of this, were you?
No, I guess here's what I would say. So I try my best with all sort of summer practice stuff like this to filter through different types of takeaways that people have, right? And again, reminder, I literally have to say this. We're not seeing it ourselves. We're not in the gym. I'm just seeing whatever video footage is shared from these awesome reporters. So take everything with a grain of salt, of course, but I do pride myself on being able to like weed through what updates are real and what updates are like we're gonna see a different version of Miles Colvin this year, right? Um, I would say this, Cart. The Kluff stuff, very real. Just like, wow, that guy's ready. It's new, it's different. Here we go. Then I think there's a lot of stuff I would put in the bucket of promising, but take it with a grain of salt. And for me personally, I heard positive CJ Cox buzz, as you mentioned, from the Boilers in the Stands guys, among others. I think Newbert had a whole paragraph write up about Jakari Harris looking like a new Jakari, which honestly, I will say, I said this at the top, but the fact that like two different sources in attendance could come away with like which guy deserves the shout out differently, like these guys say CJ, these guys say Jakari,
Hmm.
makes me kind of take it all with a grain of salt with that group, right? Because
Yeah.
if one of them was that impressive, everyone would be coming away talking about that guy. Instead, it's like the Heidi Colvin thing again of like, well, the Jakari looks like a new Jakari, CJ looks like a new CJ. It might all be true, or maybe they just look like guys that are progressing naturally into their sophomore years and are going to be role players. I would put CJ and Jakari and Jack Benter in that bucket. Although the Jack Benter stuff's a little bit different just because Jack Benter obviously doesn't need to get a mention anywhere. And it feels like everyone everywhere is like, I don't know where the minutes come from, but he deserves it. We'll see. We'll see on that. I am open to being wrong on Jack Benter. Personally, I would be stunned if he's a rotation player on this team, just given how much everyone else is and has. They brought in Liam Murphy, who's a more veteran version of Jack Benter, to do what Jack Benter can do. And we're not seeing Liam Murphy right now because he's out all summer. So to me, there's no way you play both Murphy and Benter. And I think they brought in Murphy to play over Benter, but could be wrong on that. We'll see. I think I'm actually going to read an excerpt on the Benter thing just quickly because this is Newbert's write up. He did a really good write up at the end of this on everything he saw. This is the final paragraph of Brian Newbert's write up from the open practice. He said, quote, wherever it may be, Purdue is planning on a bigger, stronger, and infinitely offensively skilled Benter being in its rotation.
They say infinitely.
The term that is being used for Jack Benter in August is infinitely offensively skilled. That's the ones that I'm going to put in the grain of salt bucket. You follow what I'm saying here? Like
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like you know where I have stood on that for most of it. It's just like, what's a good way to put this? It's like Mean Girls, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to make Benter a thing. It's not a thing. Just like kind of let it go.
every bit of positive buzz is better than no buzz. I will say that. I mean, looking back through past years, how many times did we ever hear like Will Berg's going to be a factor? I don't think that ever happened because the writing was on the wall. So the fact that like the 12th and 13th guys on this roster are looking good enough to warrant praise like that is obviously a good thing. We know how deep this team is. Maybe on a different roster, Jack Benter would immediately be an impactful rotation player. But for me, gonna put all of those like kind of incoming returning sophomores, right? Benter's a redshirt freshman, but Cox and Harris, it's like, okay, guys are progressing. Do you feel strongly enoughly differently about Cox or Harris that you want to call that out separately, or are you kind of on the same page with me?
So the only thing I mean I feel the same way that you do about the whole Benter situation. The one thing I'm starting to just does it kind of feel to you like they're doing a flavor of the week thing with like which other guard is having like is going to break out? Like last week, Antoine West was Carson Edwards. This week is Jakari Harris. The week before that, you'll mix in some CJ Cox, and it's like Omer. Is it just like you got to look at that as, oh my God, they got options on the wing, or is it like are they just like kind of switching flavor of the week things with these wings?
Yeah, I mean there are so many options here. I bet you there's just different times where different guys look good, different guys shine. But you're definitely right. It feels like it's a rotating carousel of positivity with all of the potential Purdue role players. And look, the reality is on a team this good, you can't play like seven role players, right? Like it'd be nice if you could. Maybe you get some buy games where you do. But Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman, Ren, Oscar Kluff, and Fletcher Lawyer are going to need a lot of minutes. We haven't even mentioned Omer Meyer, who's not here. So these role players are going to have to beat each other out. One of them is going to need a big role. Maybe a second one is going to have a minor role. The rest are probably not going to play all that much. And if they were playing all that much, that would be a bad thing for Purdue. People kind of need to wrap their mind around it, right? It's great to have role players you believe in. It's not great if you're trying to play seven role players on a team that's trying to win a national title. So we'll see. With that said, back to my original question. There is one guy that is not in my like grain of salt bucket that I do feel everyone's consensus takeaway was like, oh, this is gonna look different this year from this guy. And it's one of the returnees. Any guess who I'm talking about there?
Gonna look different for one of the returning guys.
Felt like the praise and what we saw and just the way everything was interpreted through a lens was of this guy out of the big three returnees.
Who?
Trey Kaufman Wren.
What about him?
Now, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing yet, but maybe this is also just like the inherently Purdue view. We know you and I have always disagreed on this. Feels like the way Purdue fans view this team is always through the lens of TKR, almost
Mhm.
just like he's this special talent and we've got to unlock him. And you and I feel that way more about Braden than we do about TKR. But from everything I saw and heard and the videos that were shared and write ups that were written, it was a lot of just like, yep, Fletcher's Fletcher. His leadership's taken a new level, but he's Fletcher. Yep, Braden's Braden. Cooking in that mid range. We got the best backcourt in the country, no doubt. More of the same. The TKR updates were like, we're gonna see some new shit from TKR this year. And I think part of that is how good Kluff and Jacobson look. But it was a lot more of like, wow, TKR's passing is going to be on full display. Like there were highlight clips shared of TKR throwing lobs, TKR sort of being unlocked in the high post as a facilitator because of these new options around him. Where I will say, I would have liked to hear those same types of sentiments be shared about the National Player of the Year favorite where in reality, I don't think they were. It was just kind of like Braden and Fletcher look great. They're themselves. We're going to see a whole new TKR this year because of how Kluff is going to unlock new elements of his game. And honestly, I think it's probably accurate. Like, I bet you TKR is the guy who looks the most different this year from last season because he's going to be put in different spots because he has good front court players alongside him now. But it was just kind of interesting. I feel like for the most in-depth look we've got at this offseason, it definitely felt TKR centric from like a team view standpoint of what are we going to do that's different from last year. It was a lot of TKR praise on look what he's going to be able to do now.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is and this is not to exile any Purdue fans as far as like how they view their team, but they obviously love Braden. They love Lloyd. They love everybody on their team. Obviously, they're Purdue basketball fans. If you don the Purdue black and gold, they're gonna love you. But there is something about I feel like if they could pick one player to win National Player of the Year this year and that get the quote unquote respect they deserve, it might be TKR over anyone else on the team, and that's even Braden Smith, who is going to go down as one of the greatest Boilermakers of all time. It's just it's something inherently about TKR. Maybe it is that he is somewhat disrespected by some people and somewhat disrespected by. We're all looking for the person who did this. Um, but yeah, it does seem there's a little bit of that element to it. But I don't know. I feel like the maybe I just kind of glanced past it, but the only thing that, obviously having TKR having the ability to, do that little push pass or push shot on top of what he can do kind of in the pick and roll and in the post. Maybe I just kind of glazed over the TKR jump love more than I should have.
Yeah, I feel like just even in the video stuff that shared, Jordan Stocks also had like a practice footage clip that he broke down that was TKR catching on a short roll and then having a decision to make. Um, the stuff they're going to be able to run is just going to feel so simple because of how many threats they have on the court at once, dude. Like, you have to put all your time and effort into trying to frustrate Braden. And then you can't leave the 45% three-point shooter. So you kind of got to pick your poison with this team. And I could be wrong, but I think a lot of teams are gonna try and pick TKR as like the guy they will leave and make beat you. And if you do that, TKR is going to beat you. Like he's way too good. And that was last year when he was almost looking to score every play. This year, like he is going to catch in 2-on-1 situations constantly and have lob threats behind him, kicks to the corner for shooters, or his little push. I don't know how you're going to guard it. I just don't. And I do think it makes sense to me, like the upgraded center spot is going to have the biggest impact on TKR, both offensively and defensively, because you've got to manipulate where you put him on the floor offensively and probably use him on the perimeter a little more now to make room for the bigs. And then two, defensively, it covers all of TKR's bases. I mean, I said it before last year. I thought TKR's weaknesses were Purdue's weaknesses. Not a great rebounder, negative rim protection. Now you've got guys that fix that, and it allows TKR to just be himself and not try to stretch into something he's not. So it makes sense to me that that's the positive like takeaway, biggest takeaway. We are going to see a fully unlocked version of TKR. I think I'm buying that, even if you and I are a little, I don't know, we wouldn't view it that way. I think it's probably accurate. Um, Last thing I just want to add personnel wise from all of this. Again, it sounds Braden is looking the part of the preseason National Player of the Year. Fletcher very much looking like the best shooter in the country and the vocal leader of this team. We've asked this before. Does it make you feel warm and fuzzy that Fletcher Lawyer is the unequivocal vocal leader of this team?
No, also, I don't care if this team has even a leader. Like teams need leaders when they lack other things. And I think they have other guys on this team that lead in different ways. They're more of a lead by example team in general. So like I don't even know who the vocal leader would be. So honestly, yeah, I'm honestly comfortable with Fletcher being the vocal leader guy. Because I'd rather it be him than, you know, Braden, who I feel like doesn't want to do that. And TKR who wants to convince you that the world's flat.
I get it. So people love the Braden Cassius comparison. Cassius was never the most vocal leader guy ever either, was he?
No.
I thought his junior year, which was his best year and the team's most successful year, I thought he was visibly vocal in a way we hadn't seen before. Cassius kind of took on the ownership of you know what? I need to be the guy here.
Mhm.
And the only thing I would say, it's nitpicky. I'm a little frustrated. It feels like this team's being built in a way that we're not asking that or demanding that of the two All Americans. Like TKR is a guy that likes to talk. He should be a vocal leader on this team. Braden Smith, I get it. That's not how he's wired. It doesn't give me identity wise the best feelings in my gut to hear like Fletcher Lawyer is the leader of this team. I don't want to get on a Fletcher Lawyer led bandwagon to a national title. I want to get on a Braden Smith TKR led bandwagon, you know?
Yeah, so I don't want to get on that bandwagon, but I don't think that bandwagon affects anything.
Probably true. But
Yeah.
I'm just that was another interesting point is like Fletcher's clearly the guy this year. Yeah, no,
Which
I don't want
which
that. Like,
which is funny because like visually, and this isn't fair. Like if Fletch was like someone in the back of my mind was probably like, "Shut up, Fletch."
right, right. And again, that's you and I's history with the Lawyer family from his older brother, but it's just you've got these two like ready-made, they be about it guys, and they do lead by example, but like just get a little vocal, man. Don't let Fletch be the guy. Be the guy. Just be the guy. Um Last thing from me, broad summary takeaway. It's very abundantly clear how ready this team is in August. And I think that's pretty cool. Like teams that go out and go for a championship have that feeling in the summer of like, this is it. We are going all in. It's a sense of urgency. I feel like that's the number one thing I heard from all parties that did write-ups on this and shared video. It's like, man, this team's ready now. There's not really much of a learning curve or an adjustment period here. They are ready for this now.
Yeah, that it's gonna get spooky.
Yeah. Every time they open the doors to anybody, it reaffirms my pick that Purdue is my national title winner on paper. Do you have any sort of revised feelings on that? Who is your title pick? Have you gone on record with this right now?
No,
Who's your title pick?
I'm not ready to go on record with it yet.
So you don't have one?
No, when I'm ready to go on record with my title pick, this channel will know.
Is it because you think Purdue is the team to beat?
No, it's not. It's just I don't have a team currently that I would like to go on record with.
Okay. Why isn't Purdue your team to beat based on everything you've seen here?
I honestly I really didn't see much that was just like surprising, I guess, out of this. Like kind of same old, same old. This team's really good.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
could very I mean they should be if you had to pick two title favorites, one of them has to include Purdue. But I still think there's other teams that should be in that title conversation.
What if you had to pick one title favorite?
I pick Houston.
Ugh. Gross. Haven't even seen this team with Omer yet.
Someone get my guy some sleep, please.
Got a little tired.